My name is Clarence Oliver, and I used to be fat and sad. Throughout the years, I just kept getting fatter and sadder. That was my life. At the age of 5, I was diagnosed as obese. I had a deconditioned heart muscle, which meant that my body was too big for my heart. And that meant that day in and day out, I suffered from chronic fatigue and chronic chest pain. I couldn't really hang out and play with kids like everyone else my age was doing. Sports were a very difficult thing for me. Heck, walking up flights of stairs was a difficult thing for me. And as much as I wanted to be like everyone else, I couldn't seem to get there. I went to doctors. I went to nutritionists. I went to a witch doctor. Yes, a witch doctor. And I was put on the pills, vitamins, diet after diet after diet after diet. And in the end, I was getting fatter and I was getting sadder. Things just didn't seem to work out. No matter what I did, no matter how much effort I put into it, no matter how much I seemed to try, and no matter how much everyone seemed to encourage me, telling me, you can do it. Yeah, you're doing good. You're working hard at it. I don't understand why it's not working, but you're doing good. Just keep at it. It just wasn't working, and I just kept getting sadder about it. At 14, I weighed 250 pounds, and I was being bullied and teased and beaten up all day. I couldn't succeed, and if I couldn't succeed at that, I was beginning to feel like I couldn't succeed at anything. You know, I couldn't really find myself in that social structure. I wasn't making friends. I wasn't doing great in school either. I was lost. I was lost in that abyss of self-defeat. And you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with achieving goals and breaking limits and accomplishing and getting everything that I want? Well, it happens that I learned 4 principles on this journey. 4 principles that would allow me to get not just the weight off, but everything else in my life as well. Friends, money, success. Everything that I've wanted and that I've ever dreamed of came from 4 principles that came from this journey. And I'm going to teach you these 4 principles. But first, you have to understand the journey. At 18, I decided I'm going to really go for it this time. I stopped drinking all sodas. I drank only water. I jogged 2 miles a day. And I ate only vegetables. I got on the scale. After 6 months, I got on that scale. And glaring back at me was 347 pounds. Now, for 6 months, I didn't get on the scale. This was going to be my great treat to myself. I was going to be done. I was going to be this exercise. I'd get on the scale, and I was going to see like 50 pounds dropped after 6 months, right? And looking back at me, it was about 50 pounds gained. I wasn't muscular. I wasn't a fit brute of a man. I was just fat. And I looked at that number glaring at me in that accusatory way a scale can glare at you. And I was sad. I was depressed. I didn't know what to do for a minute. So I picked up the scale. I started looking at it. It had to be the scale's fault, right? This couldn't be the case. I dusted off the feet of the scale, put it back down, set it up, got on it again. 347 pounds. Now I was mad. I was angry. I was angry at myself. I was angry at everything. Nature, everything that could be causing it. I didn't understand why. Why couldn't I lose the weight? And at that moment, in that anger, I decided that's it. That's it. I'm going to change. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to accomplish it. And I tell you this. You'll be amazed at how fast you can change when you accept nothing but change. I went upstairs where all our books were, and where my mother had put all the stuff that she had collected over the 13 years or so of trying to help me lose weight. and I took it all downstairs, brought it into my room, and started reading it. I locked myself away in my bedroom for days on end, reading through everything, trying to create a diet, trying to create a plan, going through the internet. By the time I was done, I had a basic plan, but I kept reading, I kept researching, I kept studying everything I could get my hands on. I learned more about adipose tissue than anyone not making a living off of fat tissue should probably ever learn. And in the end, it began to pay off, though. I began to see the weight drop. 10 pounds, 20, 40, 80 pounds. A year later, I was 80 pounds down. Today, I'm more than 110 pounds down, and I continue to drop. I continue to get into shape. What changed? How did I do this? And when I was looking at it, I wasn't excited and happy and thrilled. I was actually upset. Now I knew I could accomplish this. That means I could have accomplished so many other things. If I just put my mind to it, if I just decided, if I had just used these principles I was discovering, my life could have been astonishing by the age of 23 when I began to lose that weight. I was horrified. And then I decided I need to change more. I didn't have friends. I didn't have money. I didn't have a social circle of events that I could go to. I didn't have anything over life. I lost weight, but I was still in a small little room living with my parents. I had to change. I had to change more. In 6 months' time, I began making money. I had a group of friends. I had a calendar of events to go to for friends, for family, for everything imaginable, for just events that interested me that I was hearing about from other people. I was sociable. For the first time in my life, I was out there, and anybody I seemed to get in contact with seemed to like me. And, best of all, I was no longer sad, and it had nothing to do with the friends, the family, or the money, or the weight loss. It had everything to do with just understanding how to always have control in my life, to take control in the way in which I could face any problem, that I could answer any issue, that I then had the ability to live and create my life the way that I wish to live and create my life, that I understood the 4 principles that I'm going to tell you right now. The first is vision. You have to have vision. Now, see, vision isn't a goal. A goal is something you can set aside, put away. You gave it your best, but it just didn't work out. We have the whole system of write down your goal, look at it every day, and eventually it'll come true. And there's some validity. If you keep processing in your mind that this is what you're going to accomplish, this is how you're going to accomplish it, goals do begin to work like that. But it's not as effective. A vision is not a goal. A vision is seeing exactly what it is you want, when you want it, and how you want it. It's hearing it, feeling it, tasting it, seeing it, and just grabbing it. It's knowing the exact route and path to it. It's knowing everything that you want to see. When you have a vision, you have an idea in your mind so clear, broken through all the haze and mist, muting all the horns and bluster and sound and fury. And you have that clear, soft, gentle, harmonic path laid out in front of you. A vision is that clear reality and understanding of what it is that you want to accomplish. With vision comes the ability to begin to create the steps to accomplish. Now, each step can be a goal, but that's another thing that we'll get into later. The structure is that vision. You have to have vision. Next, you need to have action orientation. You need to be proactive. Every book, every self-help guide that you'll ever read will tell you to be proactive. And every time we're not. Why is that? Why do we procrastinate on the things that we want the most? oftentimes it's because we make small, simple mistakes and our mind is programmed to keep putting things off. But taking easy, simple steps day by day will allow you to begin to break that pattern. Eliminate procrastination from your life so that you can begin to take action on everything that's in front of you. When you begin these steps that I'm going to explain to you, piece by piece, of which that you're going to be able to start implementing into your life the moment you leave, you're going to begin to achieve that sweet state of being where you can start to take action on anything that confronts you. It doesn't matter what it'll be. It's no more putting it off. There's no more worry. When you know how to become action-oriented, you'll take 10 steps for every 1 hour of learning. The third thing you want to do is have emotional control. If you can't control your state, you can't control anything. If you can't control how you feel, think, and look at a problem or an issue that you face in your life, then every time you begin to face these issues, every time you stumble on the path to your vision, you're going to want to turn around and walk away. You'll never achieve that way. You'll never succeed that way. The only way true success can come is through activating your own emotional control. Taking responsibility and taking charge of your emotions so that you can ask the right questions, so that you can look at things in the way they are, rather than the way you dread they are or the way you want them to be. When you have state control, you begin to see things for how they are, and then for how they can be, how you can make them. But it all begins with you first taking control of yourself. Now finally, you have to have passion. If you don't have passion, if you don't have drive, if you're not pushed to do what you want to do, if you haven't figured out what motivates you in your life, then it doesn't matter how grand your vision is. Doesn't matter how wonderful your ideals and wants are, and it doesn't matter how much action you're able to take toward things. You're always going to be struggling to get there, and it's only going to be half as fulfilling. Because when you don't have your purpose aligned, when you don't have that passion aligned to your goal, to that vision, to that great image that you have of what you want in the future, to your success, to your family, to anything that you want, then you're left to simply struggle. If the things that you want are should-haves or I'd like them instead of must and need, then it's always going to be hard to get to. But when you understand the passion model that I'm going to lay out, you're going to find that you're going to be able to not just do the things that you really want. You're going to be able to do the things that have always been difficult for you too. The things that have bothered you or annoyed you. And you're going to be able to do them with vigor, because when you figure out what your true passion is, you'll be able to figure out how to align your passion in your mind with anything you're faced to do. Which means that you'll be able to enter into any situation with that fresh excitement and readiness to take on the issue, to take on the situation the way that you see fit, and create the outcomes that you want to have. Because when you know what you're passionate about, that passion guides not just you to what you want, but every aspect of your life. It begins with 4 principles. That's it. When you understand these 4 principles, when you begin to take the steps that I'm going to explain to you, you're going to see your life expand in the way that you've always wanted it to.